Hi friends! It is finally spring out and I am so excited because all the trees are in bloom and the flowers are out and the birds are out singing and collecting things for their nests. They're building nests for laying eggs in, and today I'm going to show you how to make a little nest. And then I'm also going to show mamas how to make a version for themselves. I'm going to use these to decorate my dining room table with for Easter. We're going to start off with this little guy. I'm going to show you how to make this one. And it's basically the same exact concept, but different materials for this one. So for these guys, we use pipe cleaners and yarn. And so it takes 2 pipe cleaners and you cut them in half. And then you take one and you cut it in half again, and then you get rid of, so here, see? And then you just get rid of that part. Because when we put these together, you're gonna make this little snowflake looking thing, and it needs to have 7 sides, odd numbers only when you weave like this. If you have an even number, it's not gonna work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let me show you real quick how we put this together. It can be a tiny bit tricky wrapping that part. And then we wrap this part. If you need a parent to help you with this part, go for it. I love to encourage you guys to always try things on your own if you can. It may take a couple tries to get it right, but that's okay. Because trying new things makes our brains grow. That's a good thing. And it strengthens our hands. And that way next time you know how to do it better. So there we go. Okay, we have our little snowflake. Now I'm going to grab some yarn. And what's great about this is the pipe cleaners, because they're fuzzy, it grips the yarn and it makes it stick to it a lot easier. And that's what makes this easier for kids to do. So I start in the back and I hold it with my finger down. And I go, so I just went over that one. Now I'm going to go under and then over and then under. Don't mind my dog barking. Over, under, over, under. Oh, we just made an entire circle. We went all the way around. And now you notice here, this one went under. Now I'm going over. So you see how weaving is, we're securing the yarn so it doesn't shift around. So we're doing the opposite of what we just did. That one just went over, so we're going under. And if you notice you're weaving and you end up going like this and you're like, whoa, I've got a gap, just go fix it, okay? Because you'll notice if you make a mistake and your weaving's off, here, I'll show you what we don't do, okay? Let me do this one. If I ended up doing this, it's starting to build up in the center instead of building around the outside edges, right? So you want to make sure we're building it up around the outside edges. So going over. So this one was over, right? So this time I'm going under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Just going around, and I'm going to show you in a second when we get to the end what we do. Okay, under, over, under, over, under, over. Oh, we've gotten to the end. You can just tuck that in just like that. See how easy that was? And now I'm going to go to this one, and we just start off where we left off. And so I don't mind that this thing is super fuzzy, because think about how a bird makes its nest. You know, they're just tucking things in every which way, right? So are you following me along here? Over, under, over, under. This one's a little bit trickier to follow because it's so fluffy. So this one was over, so I'm going under. Over, under, over, under. Over, under, over, under. Now, did you notice the farther out I get, I'm using up my yarn a lot faster, right? So I've reached the end. Let's tuck it a little bit. Next color. And then I like to end, see that one just made it around a couple of times. Tuck the end under. And that's where we left off. I like to end on one that's a little bit fuzzier, thicker. You can also put ribbon in these if you want. I find this type of yarn that's kind of fluffy works really well because it grips onto these. Okay, over, because that's where I left off. You were getting super close to the end here. And then I'm just going to tuck this in. And I'm going to tuck this one in too. There we go. All right, so that was that part. We're all done here. I'm going to trim off some of the longer ends. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do here to secure it. And like I said, this is the same exact thing you're going to do on this one. So you cut the copper wires. It's about the half length of one of these guys. I'd say, what, 6 inches? Something like that, about 6 inches. And so you cut that, have odd numbers, do the same thing. You're going to have like a little snowflake pattern and use your raffia to go over, under, all the way around. It's a little trickier because you kind of have to hold all the stuff together. The raffia doesn't stick to wire the way yarn sticks to pipe cleaners. So that's why I suggest these be for mamas or older kids. So what you're going to do at this point is just fold the ends down, just like that. Okay, fold the ends down, just like that. Sometimes I stick my finger back there and then to help it bend. If you got to get help from parents, it's totally fine, but try it on your own first. See if you can do it, if practice helps. So this, when I'm bending it over, it's going to help that yarn to stay in place. And I think I need to tuck that in. Now, I'm going to push the wires up. So I've just made a little bowl. And that's okay if some of the yarn pops out a little bit. It's okay. So I've just made my little nest. Look at that. Now you can use Model Magic. So in this little guy, we have some eggs. Oh, feathers. I almost forgot. If you have, I have some craft feathers around, so they're nice and clean. I didn't pick these up from the yard. And I just tuck it in there. So it's kind of like how a mama bird would do. She would put some feathers in there to make it soft. If you have Model Magic, clay, or even if you make some homemade Play-Doh, something, you can make some eggs and put them in your nest. And we had these little chickies from Easter baskets last year. And so we tucked those in there. And we have some, my little girl made this one yesterday, and she has a nest full of lots of little babies. And so there you go, there's that. And same exact process with this guy. And I folded the wires down, I clipped them, folded them down, and made that little nest shape. And then I had these wooden eggs, and I thought they were just so pretty. Simple and pretty. Anyway, you guys, there you go. I hope you enjoy that project, and I plan on sharing some more spring colorful things. So stay tuned. Bye, guys.